artists. For this week's art lesson, we're going to be drawing Mickey Mouse in the style of artist Andy Warhol. Andy Warhol was an American artist right from Pennsylvania and the New York area who worked in a style of art called pop art. Pop art, or popular art, is art that uses popular images that are recognized by everyone throughout the world, no matter where they live, as inspiration for their artwork. So for example, an artist like Andy Warhol, who works in the pop art style, would take a very familiar subject like Mickey Mouse, possibly the most famous cartoon character in the world, and he would use it in his artwork and then just change it so that he added his own colorful style. Andy Warhol, besides an illustrator and a painter, was also a printmaker. A printmaker, or printmaking, is a process of art in which one image or drawing can be repeated again and again, almost as if you were using an inked stamp to stamp it every time. Since we don't have our own printmaking machine or ink stamps to do the printmaking process ourselves, we're going to use our drawing techniques so that we can copy our Mickey Mouse several times to create the same printmaking style that Andy Warhol would use in his art. And you guys get to use imaginative colors for your Mickeys too. They do not have to be realistic black and white colors that we would normally see for Mickey Mouse. You can make them as colorful, even rainbow-like if you want. I'm going to show you how to draw Mickey straight forward, just the head, or I will also show you how you can do it with the body and the hands. And you have a choice to do it twice or in the 4 boxes. For this project, you're going to need a piece of white paper. Any size will do. A pencil to draw with, and definitely an eraser in case you make a mistake. You probably are going to want a black marker to trace your drawing before you start to color. That way you can see Mickey Mouse and it stands out from the rest of your picture. Remember, it doesn't have to be a permanent black marker. Any black marker will work. And for coloring, you have choices. If you want to use colored pencils, that's fine. I'm going to use markers and crayons for mine, a little bit of both combined. If you want to get real creative and try some paint or pastels, you can do that too. But markers and crayons work perfectly fine. So let's get all our supplies together and get ready to make our Mickey Mouse project. Okay, we're going to start by learning how to draw Mickey straight forward in the 4 boxes first. So if you want to make Mickey Mouse in the 4 boxes, like the original example I showed you, just his head, this is the part of the video that you're going to want to follow. After that, I'll show you how you can do him twice, showing his full body. So let's start by folding our paper first. First thing I'm going to do is take my white piece of paper and hold it horizontal in front of me. That's a cross. I'm going to match up end to end as if I was making a birthday card. Now, if I was going to choose to make Mickey with the whole body, where I only see it twice, then all I would do is fold my paper once, and when I open it up, I have 2 sides to draw Mickey 2 times. If I want to draw Mickey with the 4 boxes, like the first drawing that we saw before, then I'm going to have to do 1 more fold after this one. So I'm going to take the bottom and match it up to the top as best as I can. Press down on the fold. I like to go over it a few times so that I make sure I can see the lines. And then when I open it up, I should have the 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll do the 4 box Mickey first. And this is going to be Mickey's head. I don't have to worry about the body, just the head. I'm going to show you how to draw it the first time in the first box. Now I'm using a marker to draw so everyone can see. You should definitely use a pencil in case you make a mistake. So we're going to make Mickey's head by doing some simple lines and shapes. So in the first box, and remember Mickey's going to be the main part of our box, so we can draw pretty big, a nice size. So we're going to start by making a curved line for the start of Mickey's head. If it looks a little too short or a little too long, you can fix it before you move on to the next step. Remember, it's important to look at your drawing after each step and to assess if there's anything you need to change or fix before you move on to the next part. Mickey has round, big ears, so I'm going to go to the top of that curve and make a nice size circle all the way around. Now, a little trick to make sure the second one matches up with the first. I'm going to just take my finger or my pencil and kind of go all the way across and make a dot. And now I know that when I make my circle for the second ear, it has to touch that dot and come back down so that they can be a similar size. We're going to start the inside of Mickey's head. So I'm going to go to the middle of my first curve and I'm going to make the letter V, a little stretched out than normal. I'm going to continue that line and I'm going to curve down and out, down and out. Notice I went down so that it matched up with the first line that I made for the outside of the head, and then I curved out past that line. That's super important because that'll make the inside of Mickey's head where the eyes are, and it'll start his cheeks for when he's smiling. I'm going to continue that curve down towards the bottom, but I'm not going to close it yet. Before we close the bottom of his chin or his face, we're going to actually work on the eyes. So I'm going to go right here in the middle where those two indents are, and I'm going to start by making a curved line. Mickey's eyes are nice size ovals, so from that line, I'm going to stretch out an oval up once and twice. Again, if the eyes look too small or if they look like they're in the wrong space, you can fix them before you move on. I'll give you a little tip. The eyes line up with the curves that we made for the inside of the head, so they should kind of fit within that curved space. If they are too close together or too far apart, it may look a little strange. So if you're not sure if your eyes are correct, it may just be that they're in the wrong size and in the wrong spot. And you can fix that real easy. Inside the eyes, we make a little curve and we color that spot in with our pencil so that we remember it is supposed to be black later on. Below that line is Mickey's nose. So I'm going to make another oval just stretched out sideways. And I'm going to color that in black. Again, if you want to color in now, you can use your pencil or save it later. I like to leave one little spot empty so that it looks like a reflection mark. You can color the whole thing in black or you can do the same. It's a little spot where the light hits on his shiny black nose. It's up to you if you want to make it. Okay? And then we're going to make Mickey smile. So we're going to go to the side of his head, which would be his cheeks, and start with the curved line for the smile. Curve across for the top of the mouth. Curve down and up for the bottom of the mouth. And when Mickey smiles, you see his tongue. So right in the middle, you make two curved lines, like the top of a heart. And the inside of his mouth is black around his tongue. So you can take your pencil and color it in so you don't forget. And leave the tongue empty because you can make that pink or red later on. And then to finish it off, we're going to make another little curve for his chin. So I'm just going to curve from one side to the next. And there's Mickey's head. Now I have 3 boxes left, so I would simply draw that 3 more times. Now, the more you do it, the easier it's going to get. So the second time is going to be way easier than the first. I'm also going to give you a little trick. Sometimes it helps is if you do each step in each box as you go along. So our first step was making the curve for the top of the head. So if I do it in this box, maybe I go down and do it in this box. And this one. It's a little trick on how you can finish all of them pretty quickly. Here's his ears. And I am just doing the steps that I just did another time to finish the rest. If you forget the steps, you could always go back and watch the video again. There's also handouts in the PowerPoint that show you how to draw Mickey step by step. So you can always use those as reference to see up close while you are drawing. Okay, his curve lines out. Right, and his curve for his nose. Eyes. And the inside. And I would keep going until Mickey was finished in all 4 boxes. When it's done, it looks a little like this. There's Mickey 4 times in 4 boxes, and I use the folds of the paper as my guidelines for where the boxes are. If you can't see the folds of the paper very well, you could always take your pencil and trace over them. That way you know where your 4 boxes are so that they stay lined up in the boxes. So there's Mickey 4 times, 4 heads. I would then take my black marker and trace so that I could see better, and you can use it to color in the eyes and the nose. You could even use it to color the inside of the mouth in if you like, right? So that it stands out from the rest of the picture. Now, if you don't want to make Mickey 4 times, just the head, and you'd rather do the whole body, I'll show you that one right now. So if you wanted to do Mickey's showing his body, we only have to fold the paper twice. So if you remember from before, we started it horizontal, and then we matched it like a card end to end. Press down on the fold. And when I open it up, it gives me 2 sides and 2 sections to draw Mickey's body in. Now I'm gonna start Mickey's head the exact same way that I did it in the other example. I'm just gonna make it smaller and more towards the top so that I could fit his body below. So we're gonna go in the first box. Remember, you're using a pencil. I'm using a marker so you can see. And if you forgot, Mickey starts with a curve. If it looks too big or too small, you can always fix it before we move on to the next step. Nice size circles for ears. Use my pencil to go across and make my little mark so that it lines up and it's even. So I know it has to hit that dot and come back down. Mickey has a curved line in the middle that looks like the letter V. There's my V. I'm going to continue that line and come down on the inside so that it matches up with the first line that I made on the outside. I'm then going to curve past that line for the start of his cheeks. I'm going to make that line come down a little bit more, but I'm not going to close it off. I'm going to make that extra curve for his chin when I finish with his smile. We'll go back inside his face To make his details, we'll start with his eyes, so a curved line in the middle. Stretched out ovals for his eyes, once and twice. Remember, they match up with those curves that we originally made when we started his head. So if they look a little off, they're probably a little too small and in the wrong place. So just make sure they line up before you make the inside part of the eye and color it in with your pencil because it would be black. Okay, below the curve is Mickey's nose. So I'm gonna make another stretched out oval, just sideways. And I color it in with my pencil because it's also black, all the way colored, or if you wanna leave a little curve for a reflection spot where the light hits, you can do that. Below his nose is his mouth, and he has a nice big smile. So we're gonna go to the cheeks on the side and start with 2 curves and connect it for the top of the mouth. Curve down and up for the bottom of the mouth. We add the tongue by making just 2 little bumps. And I can also take my pencil and color in the remaining part of the mouth so that I remember to color that in black later on. Okay, and to finish off the head, we're gonna simply make 1 more curved line below for Mickey's chin. And there we have the head of Mickey Mouse. Now that's the same steps that I showed before when I did the 4 boxes, but you have space left if you are doing 2 to show Mickey's body. So we're gonna add on to the head that we already know. So below, we're gonna make the body very simple. I'm gonna make 2 lines that come straight down. I'm going to go across on a curve. Mickey usually has the top of his body is black and showing, and then he has on shorts, red shorts with yellow buttons. So below that, I'm gonna start making the shorts. Come across. Come up and down. Now everybody draws different, so everybody's gonna have a different amount of space. Maybe you don't have space to show the shorts. Maybe you can only show the top of the body. Maybe you can only show part of the shorts and not the whole thing. Maybe you only have room to show this much after you make his head. That's perfectly fine. Everybody draws different. So you decide what looks best for your picture. I can show the shorts and a little bit of the top of Mickey's legs. So I'll go underneath those shorts and add 2 more lines, almost like a rectangle, so that I can show the top of his legs. He usually has round gold yellow buttons. So I'm gonna make 2 circles for the buttons. And now I can make Mickey's hands. I'm gonna make 1 hand down and 1 hand up. You can change it in whatever direction works for your picture. So I'm gonna make 1 hand down, so I'm gonna make a curved line here. I'm gonna make 1 hand up, so I'm gonna curve that line up that way. I'm going to connect it by making his gloves, his white gloves that he wears on his hands. So I have an oval for the top of the glove and then curves for the fingers. 1, 2, 3. And Mickey usually has little lines on the gloves. I'm going to make 1 more curved line to make it thicker, his arm. And I'm going to close it by making the same glove, just in a different direction. So the oval for the bottom and the curves, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one I can see 4. This one I can only see 3 because the shorts were blocking it. And the little lines for the gloves. And there you have Mickey Mouse, not just his head, but the start of his body. And what I would do is I would draw this exact picture 1 more time in the box next to me. When it's done, it looks a little bit like this. Now, Mickey Mouse has been drawn a bunch of different ways. If I did a little research online, I could find lots of different drawing lessons that show different ways to do Mickey's head in different faces. Maybe he's facing sideways. Maybe he has a different facial expression where he's angry or goofy or laughing, or his eyes are open or closed. Or maybe there's different ways that I could do the body where I have different clothes on, or maybe his arms are in a different position. It's up to you if you want to try something different and come up with a little bit of your own research and your own ideas. I just wanted to show you 2 ways that were very simple to do Mickey Mouse using lines and shapes we already know. So you need to choose before you do anything else if you want to make the 4 boxes with his face up close, or if you want to make it 2 boxes showing his whole body. Once you decide that, you simply fold the paper either in half once or fold it twice to make your 4 boxes, and then you fill it in with your drawings. Once you have your drawings done, it's a good idea to outline with a black marker so that you can see your pictures better and that they'll stand out from the colorful backgrounds. And you can also use the black marker to color in whatever part of your picture needs to be black. Once you have it all drawn and outlined, you can use your markers and your crayons and your colored pencils to color in your Mickey project. Now, our project is based on the artist Andy Warhol. And Andy Warhol was known for doing coloring in his work that wasn't realistic. It was imaginary. He would pick colors that he liked to use in his pictures, not the colors that everything was in real life. So when you got to color in your Mickey, you don't have to just make him black and white or peach like he normally is. You can make him as colorful as you want. I picked different colors for Mickey's ears. I left the faces black and white so that they would stand out, and then I would pick a totally different color for the background. Whatever colors you choose, you should think about contrast. Contrast is how light and dark a color is. So if you have a dark color for the ears, you're going to want to pick a lighter color behind it so that it stands out. You can use markers, crayons, colored pencils, or if you want to get creative and try some paint and pastels, that's fine too. I also did Mickey this way, where I did keep him somewhat black and white on his body, so that part looked normal. I used just different colors for his clothes and lots of different colors in the background. I decided to split it up into different sections that I could color different colors. Maybe you want to make something like stripes or rainbow colors. It's up to you. But these Mickey pictures could be as colorful as you want. They do not have to be the normal realistic colors, especially when it comes to the background. Andy Warhol was known for using colors on his work, and he even used them on his Mickey pictures and prints that he made too. So you can do the same. Whatever materials you choose is up to you. Just take your time, finish your work completely and neatly. Remember, you do not have to finish your project in one art class time. You can work on it a little bit each day, as long as you need to complete it. I'd rather you turn in a project that you are proud of, that is neat and complete, instead of something you rushed and didn't finish. So take your time with your Mickey Mouse projects. Good luck with your work, and I can't wait to see what these Mickeys look like when you're done.